Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines and, most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I say that before every single show. And what I mean by that is I only speak with transportation professionals because I want to talk to the right individuals who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve. So you could take that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. Tracy St. Clair over on YouTube. Good morning. Corey Buchan, TGIF, everyone. He's also over on YouTube. And I'm really going to say this every single day until everybody goes over to YouTube. But I'm starting to migrate all of the people who watch on LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook to go over to YouTube and start and just look for the Freight Coach on there. If you guys want to tune in live, because that is what I have been told has exponentially the best streaming quality that is out there. And I'm trying to get everyone over there because LinkedIn is their live feature is just kind of glitchy and everything. And, but yeah, if you hit this up on the audio only replay and you're hearing this for the first time, I do stream this live every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, because we're just going to continue to do this, you guys. And we got some exciting changes coming up here in the next couple of weeks on the podcast and kind of where we're going to be transitioning our podcast into. And kind of we're just making a couple of tweaks out there. I have listened to the masses in the audience, and I think we're gonna have a really exciting format coming up here that a lot of people are definitely going to continue to benefit from. Let's see here. I do have today's Q&A day, by the way. So if you have any sales or operations related questions for the transportation industry, drop them in the chat. I will answer them live on the show here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be also, so kind of speaking of that format. So last week, obviously I had Paul Estrada on the show. He is an enterprise shipper, and he answered all of your guys' questions last week. And we're going to be sprinkling in some more consistency on that about having shippers come on the show and answer your guys' stuff live. I'm very fortunate to have a very large shipper audience who tunes into this show. And a couple of them are willing to come on and answer your guys' questions out there. And, again, this is what it's all designed for, you guys, is to, where you don't have to pay for a consultant to come in who's never actually sold freight before or talked to a shipper in that regard and, teach you guys about this stuff. So this is a way for you guys to get out there and really ask some of these questions to these professionals who you guys are reaching out to in every single day. And, to a lot of my driver friends who listen to this show, this is 100% for you guys as well to talk to those shippers, because I see your guys' comments all over social media about how you hate brokers, which I laugh at because, I definitely understand why you do. But, you guys, like one of the most common questions out there is how do I find direct shippers as a carrier? How do I find direct shippers as a carrier? This is your opportunity to come on and ask these shippers what you can do differently out there. But yeah, check all of that out, you guys. They'll be coming on. I'll try and make some of those special announcements to let you know when shippers come on this show so you guys can ask them directly. Because all the feedback that I give everybody is this is just shit that I do inside of my business, because, I have a day job and I actually run a freight brokerage and I actually sell freight every single day. I've already had loads pick up today. And also, furthermore, shout out to my friends over at Green Screens, you guys. You guys want the most accurate pricing? Like, legitimately, the rate that Green Screens told me that I was going to pay on a lane that we moved today was $14 off of what I actually paid compared to what they had said in the system. So $14. So that is like very, very, very accurate. So check that out. you guys hit them up. I mean, I use them for all of my freight pricing that's out there. It is very dialed in for real time in the moment decisions out there, you guys. I'm telling you, I use it every single day, and I'm moving a decent amount of freight right now. We can always move more. That's why I'll refer to it as a decent amount, because we can always move more freight. All right. Also, the first question that I got is also kind of in relations to a podcast that I had released this morning as well with Brandon Rothrock. And if you guys haven't checked that one out, do it. We talked about fitness for trucking. And this was kind of in line with the first question that I had got out there, because like, shout out to my man, Mike Lombard. He's got a really, him, which is I'm Mark Manera, excuse me. I can't believe I just drew a blank on Mark's name, but Mark Manera has been like, he was the one who kind of like really started to do fitness in the trucking industry for drivers in particular. Mike Lombard, he's got a great story. He was on the podcast as well, and he was a driver, and then now he has since switched into fitness as well, and the dude's killing it out there, and he's got a lot of great content out there. But then I also connected with Brandon Rothrock a while ago. He's a longtime listener of the show, and he's got a company out there as well. He's a personal trainer, and he talks and he works with drivers in particular as well. So we broke that down, and so a lot of what we had talked about on there, and a lot of kind of in regards to the question that I had got is like, how do I get fit in trucking, and like where do I start? And Brandon's episode really broke a lot of this stuff down, because a lot of information that's out there is, it can be intimidating at times, right? When you're going and you're searching to start, and you got a bunch of bad habits and stuff in your life, where do you start? How do you get going on that stuff? So Brandon kind of laid out a lot of that stuff about, weaning people off of certain things, and really starting to streamline a lot of building up, routines around that. Dylan Turner, good morning over on YouTube. Appreciate you tuning in, man. But, I think like, I only talk about like my fitness journey in particular, because like, I'm not a personal trainer. I'm just a fucking regular guy who was sick of being fat, really, when it boiled down to it. I was sick of being fat. I was sick of being in pain all the time. And I just really took control of a lot of that. And like, the first and foremost, I think the best thing a lot of people can do to start, and this is just what I did, is I downloaded the MyFitnessPal app, and First Form has a great app out there as well. You guys can download that one. But buying a food scale was the best move that I had made right away, and I just started logging what I ate every single day. I didn't change up much, but I just started weighing stuff out, and I that was where I kind of started with that, because one thing, like there's a saying out there, I think it's like, you can't out train a bad diet. And I truly think that that's one of the biggest things that I worked on out there, and anybody can control, right? Like, I love shitty food just like the next person, right? Doritos, fucking sign me up. Puff Cheetos, fucking get some, like that, but it's also like the worst shit for you that you can put it out there. But I look at it as, I stopped telling myself, and this was recent, I stopped telling myself I was on a diet. I just tell myself this is just how I eat now. And, that food scale, and then just getting active in some regard, I think is over talked. It's not talked about enough, just like, because there aren't a lot of complicated workouts and stuff like that. Like, I think you just need to get your fucking body moving when you first start. And yeah, you can add on to some of those things as you get more and more comfortable and confident in it. But I think going for walks is not talked about enough on how beneficial it is for your health, especially when you're first just figuring out what to do and how to do it, because not everybody wants to go to the gym. And especially for the drivers out there aren't a lot of gyms out there on the road that a lot of these guys can stop, pull their truck up in, and get a pump in every single day. So what do you do inside of your truck? And I look at it as wherever you're parked at, like there's a big lot in some of these cases, or not a big lot, but you can go for a walk, right? And just start there. Start going for walks and moving around. That, like, I have, just with some health stuff that I have, I don't do like heavy weights or anything like that. I do a lot of high rep, low weight workouts, and then I walk every single night. And I've dropped a significant amount of weight, but most importantly, I've been able to keep a significant amount of weight off. And a lot of my stuff is very, very simple. And it's stuff that you can do and really build a system around. But I think like, the biggest thing is buying a food scale, weigh that stuff out, but just start moving, and don't, not everybody has that, like, and I also think like, what do you want to do long term with this, right? Like for me, I just want to be, I didn't want to be in pain anymore, and I wanted to get healthy. I wanted to be able to move around and not be in pain, and I don't want to be fucking Mr. Olympia, or I don't like. I just want to be in shape. I want to walk around with my shirt off and have a six pack, and that's it. And you might not want that for yourself, but you might want to get your blood work in order and everything else. And that's another thing too. I'm 38 years old. I just got my blood drew for the first time this year to get my levels and my markers checked, and testosterone and all of that stuff too. No, I'm not on test or testosterone, but I think that going and getting a physical and getting those things done, and I don't think, again, I'm not a doctor. Don't take this as me telling anybody what to do or what not to do, but I don't think that pills are the answer for everything. I truly think if you're meeting with somebody, a doctor in particular, and their first thing isn't to look at your diet and see what you can clean up, and their first remedy is, here, just take this pill, I think that's a fucking bad advice. Again, I'm not a doctor, but I'm just a guy who has had health issues, and I'm just a guy who took control of what I ate and got active, and it's helped out, right? And so go get your shit done and do that. And I think like that's where you need to start. And then, I think like for me, sugar is the enemy. I know it's great, but fortunately I have something that doesn't allow me to eat sugar anymore. So that kind of helps out with that. But I think like just starting somewhere is getting your body moving is an overlooked remedy to get out on your journey, because it is intimidating when you're overweight and you don't know where to start and what to do. But I think just going back to those primitive activities that our ancestors did for tens of thousands of years of just walking around and moving, I think there's a lot of benefits that does that. But Eric Tate says, kudos, it takes the mental shift to get started and continue this mentality to keep it up. Yeah, man, the results definitely keep that going. But I really think it's like discipline is really what it boils down to. That's why I'm such a fan of 75 Hard in the Live Hard program. I'm on Live Hard right now, and I post about it on my Instagram. I'm on phase 2 of that. So there's 75 Hard, phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 that you complete in the Live Hard program. But the next question I actually got was about systemizing your day. And I've just like, I don't write shit down. So any of the real SOP and systems people out there will be like, oh, if you don't write it down, it's not real. I've built systems around literally everything that I do. It doesn't matter if I'm on the East Coast, Central time, or home here in Arizona. I follow my exact same routine every single day. I eat the same foods every single day because, at this point in my business, I'm not in a position to take time off or anything like that. Like I work when I'm on the road. And mainly the travel that I do, I go out and I see customers and I, or the trade shows and stuff that I go to. I build systems around my day so I can make sure I get my shit done every single day. Like my first hour of my day has everything to do with business development. Okay. That is what I do. As soon as I sit down, I hit up and do all of my sales work right away. So I know for a fact I got my outreach in. Because at this point in my business, like I need revenue, right? I got to keep that driving. I got to get my touches in, and I got to keep that going no matter what. And then I go about my day. I'll do all my, I'll reach out to all my current customers. I will check on all my daily shipments that I got, my pickups, my deliveries, and everything else. And then I'll continue to do that throughout the day. And I just don't miss from that. So I think like a lot of it is just, it's really controlling your controllables. and not letting yourself get into excuses about if you're doing this or doing that and, oh, that can wait. It can't wait, and I think like building a system around it. And then what comes with that is the discipline to do these things every single day. And it is that accountability of holding yourself to those standards. So you are making your calls, you are sending your emails, you are doing your site visits, you are doing your follow-ups and everything else, because if you don't, and you let that stuff slide, somebody doesn't miss, and I'm working really, really hard to build that up, to not miss on those days. And I actually just started working. I told a buddy this yesterday when I was talking to him, but I'll talk about this. I'm going to be working with a sports psychologist here as well, to really help, because just like with everybody, you guys, I have those mental battles too. I have that bitch voice in my ear telling me not to do stuff. Don't go for that workout. Don't go do this. Don't read. Don't drink your water. I have that every single day. And I'm going to be working with somebody to help me really fucking break through a lot of those things, because like, again, there's the real side of entrepreneurship it's not easy. It's more mentally taxing than anything, because the results take a lot of time. And I think one of the things is building up a system around your day and following that system every single day. Even on weekends, like, I follow this stuff. I live a very, from the outside perspective, I live a very boring life, but I live the best life possible, in my opinion, because I know what I'm doing today is going to pay off eventually. And that's what it is. This is a long-term thing for me, and that's what I'm going to do. Next question I got was about achieving customer loyalty, standing out in a crowd. And like, how is it done? I also had another first this week in my business. I had my first referral shipment that I had completed, right? So a customer of ours that we've been working with now for a year and a half, they recently introduced us to one of their people through a referral, and we were able to pick up a shipment through that. That took like 18 months. And, again, just because you hauled a shipment for somebody doesn't mean that they're just going to continue to give you any more freight. Like, it takes a lot of work, right? And I think that it's so much deeper than just like, what can you get me? What's your price going to be on this load? Than most people think. A lot of people stop at that surface level and they're like, oh, well, I'm quoting and I'm picking up on time. Why don't they give me more business? Why don't they do that? And for me, it's like, because you're not going above and beyond in those instances. You do need to look and see what areas can you find improvements? How can you suggest improvements to their business, and how can you deliver upon that, right? I believe in an over communication methodology. And I know a lot of people out there say that they, communication. I fucking send so many updates on shipments. I go above and beyond. At least, well, I just do what I consider normal, but apparently this is above and beyond. I will always call ahead. Shippers, receivers, I will verify literally everything. I don't care if I deliver into a place multiple times. I'm still calling there to ensure that, hey, is it first come, first serve, normal operating hours that day? Are we good? What does that look like? And I will follow that process every single time, and I will keep my customer involved, because a lot of the freight that I move, I pick up from a third-party warehouse and I deliver to my customer's customer. My customer's not on site in a lot of these instances. So I got to keep multiple people informed. And then on top of that, there's a driver involved in that. There's dispatchers involved in that. And you need to build that up, and you need to build up that closed loop of communication to go about that. You need to document everything. You don't just, I don't take anything at surface value in this industry at all. I will always double check and triple check information that is out there, because if I don't do that and then there's an issue, that's my fault, right? It's not my customer's fault. It's not the carrier's fault. If you're a broker, you're accountable for that shit. As soon as your customer sends you that rate confirmation, as soon as your customer sends you that PO, you are accountable for everything at that point. It's not the driver, all right? It's not the driver. It's you as the broker. So when you work with me, whether it's a driver or a customer, as soon as you send me that load, I'm calling literally every party that's involved in that. I am double checking every information, and I'm keeping all parties involved, and I'm keeping all parties informed of that, unless they explicitly say, when I'm scheduling or talking to them, if the receiver's like, hey, we're first come, first serve, I will ask them in that moment, do you require me to give you a 24-hour heads up on when the truck's going to arrive? Do you require me to send you an update that morning on the delivery? And if they're like, no, not at all, these are our hours. When the drivers show up, we get them offloaded. That's the only time I won't follow back up with them and let them know. But more times than not, with a lot of these facilities that are first come, first serve, they appreciate a heads up. They appreciate that, hey, that shipment's loaded. It's going to be there in 2 days. And then on the day of delivery, they appreciate that, hey, this product's coming, this PO's coming in today. Just wanted to give you a heads up. In my experience, I have found a lot of our receivers get a lot of value in that. Same thing. As soon as we find all of that information out, well, we do this before we even tender the loads over. But I even after I tell the driver or the dispatcher that like if that shipment's first come, first serve, or if there's an appointment time, I'll follow back up with them after I send them the rate confirmation. Hey, just an FYI, this is how this is going to be. This is your site contact. This is the PO. This is the piece count. I do that every single time, you guys. I built a system around that. Again, back to systemizing your day. And I think doing that repeatedly, day in and day out, that is where customer loyalty starts to get. That's how you separate yourself out there, because anybody can quote a load, send in a truck, and have that happen. Very few people go above and beyond out there and really take things to that next level about ensuring that everything is going up. Because ultimately, you guys, we are more times than not, we're delivering to our customer's customer, right? You are a direct reflection of them to their customers. How you handle that interaction pays off for your customer, right? When's the last time you thought about that as a broker? Or are you just thinking to yourself, I just got to make a couple $100 on this load. I don't give a shit what happens. Literally every single time, if you're picking up at a co-packer for your customer, you are a direct reflection of your customer to that co-packer, that shipper. Same thing at the receivers. You need to start thinking about these things a little bit differently and applying that to your business. All right. You want to know how you survive through some of these market shifts? You go way below surface value of your expectations, and you deliver upon that every single time. All right. I want to develop such a consistent level of success with my carriers and my customers that we are the broker of choice to them, because it's going to come a time, you guys, it is going to come a time where it's going to be a very challenging freight market for brokers. Very challenging. What you are doing today, how you are handling these situations today, how you're treating your carriers today will determine if you are able to execute when this market shifts. Because there's already talk about, oh, the market shift is here. We're the first to report on this, which again, more people are more concerned about being the first than to be right, because then they can say, oh, I said that 2 years ago. Well, anyways, this market is not going to shift in brokers' favors. All right. It's not. It's like you are at the beginning stages of a carrier market. All right. You are a long ways away from it being back in the broker's favor. And how you operate today will dictate your success with your customers and your carriers in the next 3, 6, or 12 months as things really start to shake out. So if you're not the most effective one out there, take this as I don't want to call it a warning, but take this as a notice. Maybe you should start changing your ways up a little bit. Maybe you should start taking things a little bit further with your carriers and your customers to add as much value as possible, because it's going to come a time where things are going to start to come to light. Things are going to change, and you're going to have a very challenging time out there. But that's what I would recommend on achieving customer loyalty in the market. But that is going to be it. Oh, I also, just a quick update. I finished reading the Lombardi rules. Vince Lombardi Jr. Wrote this book about some just things that Vince Lombardi, the legendary Green Bay Packers coach Vince Lombardi, used to follow out there. It's a great read. It's an easy read, but there's a lot of practical information inside of that book that I would highly recommend a lot of you picking up and applying into your business out there. But that will be it. I got guests. I think I got guests literally every single day next week on the live show, you guys. And yeah, we're going to be doing this. We're going to be breaking things down. And as always, you guys, if you guys got value in what you heard, subscribe to the show, you guys. Rank it on iTunes and Spotify. If you think I gave 5 stars, rank it. It just helps get it out there, you guys. It helps springboard that out there, because if you see value, people in your network are going to see value as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. and we'll be talking to you soon.